Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I really just first want to say that I appreciate all the support that I've gotten and just the women that have been brave enough to come up to me and say, hey, look, I've been through this too, and I'm so glad that you're speaking out about it. That is definitely making these videos worth it. They're definitely more mentally draining than I initially thought they would be, but like I said, everybody that's been so thankful and so supportive, you guys really make this worth it. The last video was the first time that we had a physical altercation. He did not put his hands on me for another year and a half. There was definitely no shortage of emotional abuse and financial abuse and other types of abuse during that time, and including some on my part, where I talked about my first video, digital abuse. Throughout this video, I'm really going to be talking about how I continuously went through his phone. I found a lot out, and it ended up being like emotional abuse on his part as well. But in the same sense, you should always respect each other's privacy, and what I did was not correct. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about going through phones. So, alright, so I left off in November of 2012. The following year, pretty much, we were fighting off and on. I would go through his phone because I had suspicions of him talking to other women, which I ended up being correct. He was, I say harmlessly flirting because he wasn't meeting up with these women, but he was talking in a very flirtatious way. Also, I was going through his phone one time just looking at his pictures. We always did that to each other's phones because we had funny pictures on the internet or pictures of each other. And as soon as he saw, because I was going through it right next to him, as soon as he saw that, he instantly grabbed his phone away from me. And to me, that was just like, oh, hey, he has something in his pictures he doesn't want me to see. Which I was correct. I went through it at a later date and found nudes from another woman. So I didn't bring it up to him at that time. I don't believe I may have. I'm not really sure. But through all this, I had some trust issues, and I just kind of was like reevaluating, do I really want to be with him? So I was back in contact with my mother. We were talking. They had my phone number again. We were having shorter conversations, but we were trying to get back on a good terms. I remember she came up in May. Yeah, she came up in May, and she was helping me look for an apartment because I wasn't committing to breaking up with him, but I was just trying to get in my own space because I felt like I needed my own space because things were just too toxic at that point. So when my mom got up there, we had been fighting, or not my mom and I, my ex and I had been fighting. So when she got up there, I stayed in the hotel with her, and of course, my ex started being nice to me again. So I invited him over to the hotel, and I asked my mother, and she said that was fine. He came over and apologized to her, and she accepted his apology, and they talked, and the rest of that night, we had so many laughs, so many good times, and it gave me hope that I could have a normal relationship with him and he could be around my family. And unfortunately, instead of the initial goal of that visit was to move me out, I ended up seeing more potential in my relationship than I had in a while. So a couple months, or the next month, in June, we had been fighting again. Um, we had been fighting again, and then he had these cycles. Every 3-4 weeks, he would be miserable, and he would get really quiet, really quiet, really quiet, blow up. He was during that quiet part, and I did not want him to blow up, so I tried to initiate sex with him, but I did so timidly because I was kind of nervous of his reaction. And he didn't like when I moved slow, so he flipped out and told me he was going to the movies with his friend. I didn't believe him. It was 10 o'clock at night. So on July 4th, I got off early. I was excited. I went to go to the mall. I got an outfit for July 4th, and we left. We stopped by his aunt's. His aunt passed away last year, and she was one of the sweetest people I know. He went in and left me in the car because she's the type of person that like, you go in and you meet her and she is just, oh, come and eat, let's sit and have conversation. And she was just the most loving person. So in order to save time, he didn't bring me in there. I met her at a later date though. And so when he left me in the car, I had his phone. I went through it, still suspicious about the movies, and of course, I found out who he really went with, which I already knew he had bought 2 tickets because I found the other ticket in his pants pocket. He got back in the car and I confronted him about it, and his response was, well, you found what you were looking for. You went through my phone. You wanted to find something. You shouldn't have gone through my phone. That's why you're hurt. That's your fault. None of it was, oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. He completely twisted on me, blamed me for feeling how I was feeling, and then blamed it on me. He wouldn't have gone had I not been moving slow. He wouldn't have gone had this happened. When I asked, like, did anything happen? Did they kiss? Did anything? He's like, no, I don't like kissing, which was true. He didn't like kissing. He didn't like a lot of, like, physical contact, I guess. So I guess she tried to hold his hand. She tried to kiss him. He said no, which I don't completely believe, but I don't know to this day. So we got over that because he pretty much convinced me it was my fault and I took blame for it. Then in September, I had joined the military in August 6, 2013, and my date to leave was September 30th. So we got married September 27th because I still felt like he was the only person that really was there for me, and the military obviously doesn't recognize anybody that is not related to you on paper. So we got married in the courthouse. My family obviously was not supportive of it, and I don't blame them. After we got married, we had a conversation about him in a midlife crisis. He told me that he wants to sleep with other people while I was in basic because he didn't want to get 10 years into our marriage and have a midlife crisis and ruin our marriage, so he better get it over with now. He twisted it in a way that I just kind of agreed to it because I figured if I agreed to it, then I won't be as upset as if I don't agree to it and he does it anyways. My thinking and my judgment was very clouded back then, so I can understand if this is sounding dumb because it sounds dumb to me too. So while I was in basic, we had a deal that he could sleep with somebody, but it was no more than sex. It was no more than no, relationship things. Also, he had to write me every day. He had to pick up every phone call. He had to write me every day, and he had to be there for me. So he did. He wrote me every day. I have 55 letters that he wrote me while I was in basic for 8.5 weeks. He worked in retail, so I knew he wouldn't be able to attend my graduation because it was on Black Friday. I was already aware of that. I didn't expect anything from that. But he answered every phone call. He wrote me a letter every day. He made me feel loved and cherished and supported. And I only received 58 letters while I was there. So I say only, but that's a lot. 3 letters from other people and 55 from him. It kind of shows you where my support system proved to be at that point. And that to me was huge. I mean, I would call him and say, hey, I need this type of underwear. It's easier to fold, and I don't want to get a U on this week. And just little things that would make my life easier. And I had him there by 2 days later. So I felt loved. I felt cherished. I felt supported. But he was also sleeping with another woman. And I didn't ask while I was there. I asked later when I got out. I was hurt, but I blamed myself. But you agreed to it, so this is kind of what you get. That kind of sums up that year. I graduated at the end of November, so I'm going to bring this video to an end, and I will pick this back up in my next video, 2014-ish. So thank you again for watching. I'm probably going to upload these all at the same time, so if you want to continue the story, just go to the next video. Thank you for watching.